let's get on the mat and just come to hands and knees. And you can start to move your spine up and down in cat-cow. And if you want to coordinate your breath, you might exhale on the ground. Inhale on the chest and tail open. And take the spine from side to side by squeezing one waist and the other waist. And look towards the foot as you side bend. Just coming into center. See if you can follow some barrel roll. So lifting your rib cage and going side to side, belly down, and across. Right, so like you're tracing a circle. In reverse direction. Pausing in the center, turn one wrist back, and if it feels okay, turn the other wrist back. You might need to walk your knees closer for less intensity, right? Or if you're having trouble getting both to turn. Then lean your chest more forward than the wrists, and then bend the elbows back just slightly towards the waist. We'll get some sensation up the lower arm, the forearm. And if you want more intensity still, you could try to straighten the fingers. So pressing really firmly into the mat with a flat hand. And then flip the hand over so you're on the top of the hand. And just go gently here. You might again need to walk your knees closer because it could be really intense or too much after the opposite. That's it. And then as the tops of the hands come to the floor, and you could do it one at a time, spin the elbow crease forward, widen out through the chest. Just pause and hold. Notice how turning out with the elbow creases makes it even more intense. You keep that action happening. You can feel it right in the elbow. And then just let your hands come back to neutral or even wider and slightly turned out. And you can just go gently side to side just to keep up that pressure. And sit. Just close and open the hands so the weight is off the hand. Wrists. Opening through some fingers, just feeling the blood flow. That's it. And then we'll come down onto the elbows. So just giving the hands a break. You do elbows shoulder width apart, and then hands in front of the elbows so that your lower arm is parallel. And from here, tuck your toes under, and then lift the hips up. So you're working towards dolphin pose. And it might feel really tight in your legs. So you might need to keep the knees really bent and pedal. And my head's not on the floor, it's just hanging between my upper arms. And if you need to, walk your feet in to lift the hips even higher. So you want to think about the shape of downward dog, but because you're on your elbows, your head is closer to the ground. And then just place the knees back down, keep the elbows on the floor, and then just lengthen hips back so you come into child's pose. Again, come into dolphin, pose, lift your hips, and see if you can focus the effort of length right underneath your armpits at your sides. Right, sway your hips a bit side to side. Just let these rest again. So for some of us, that might be a lot through the shoulders. It might feel like a pretty deep stretch in the back. And then lift the elbows off the ground and come into downward. So in downward dog, Your arms are straight, your legs might be bent, your toes might be lifted. Lunge your forward to plank. So hopefully your hands and wrists feel pretty good at this point. And let your right knee kiss the mat, right? So it's just barely touching. And then jog so that your left knee touches the ground. Just see if you can switch a little bit. Speed doesn't matter. Look more for control. So upper body's not moving. When you straighten, see if you can really pull that heel back so you get the length of the back of your leg. And then lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Breath, long breath. Sweep your right leg up to the sky. So you're in a three-leg dog, and if you can, square hips, straight leg. Just hold it up. Feel the air around the toes. Feel like you could push the floor with your hands and draw further up, higher into the ceiling with your foot. A lot of breath. So bring your right knee towards your left elbow. See if you can touch or get close. Good, and then reach your right leg all the way up. Again, goes for as much length and height as you can. If this feels easy or very accessible to you, draw your front ribs up and in. You're going to bring the right knee towards the right elbow or arm, any amount. Just try to squeeze it there. And then take the leg all the way up. Let the right foot come back down to the ground. Take a moment if you need to be on your knees. If you need to take a child's pose, then take that break. So hopefully your heart's beating a little bit faster. You did that much reaching and squeezing. And we'll come to the other side. So the left foot goes up, three-leg dog. Hold it for a moment. Of course, your right knee could be bent. Trying to find the longest line from wrist to ankle. You pull the knee towards your right arm. Squeeze it there. And then all the way back. So moving with intention, knowing where your body is in space. The left knee towards the left arm. Squeeze it there. And then take it all the way back. And then placing the foot on the mat. Rest if you need to rest. Shift yourself forward to plank. You can lower from your knees, right? You can also lower from your toes. You're going to go all the way down. So doing your best to lower in one piece. And then untuck your toes so the tops of your feet are on the floor. Front of the hips are flat to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest in a baby cobra. Then release. Lift again. And as you lift this time, see if you can lift the palms off the floor. Pull the elbows back, pull the wrists back. Come down. One more time, lift. Lift the hands. Reach them back. Press your hips down, lift a little higher. And then bring your hands beside your ribs. Press your hands into the floor and into the chest, come to a full cobra. And then press into your hands and knees and take yourself back to child's pose. I generally don't move my hands if I can, just so that it really encourages me to lengthen from the sides. And then roll forward, downward facing. So we go up with the right foot, leg off. And then take the knee towards your left arm. So this is the same as last time. And now we're going to keep the right foot towards the left. And you're going to pull your tail back. You're going to reach your toes out to the left side. And my right leg is currently crossing in front of my left. See if you can pull your tail back. So you're still sort of in a downward dog shape. Right leg is reaching. And if you sink the right hip more, you might feel more pull through the left side body. Good. Bring your knee now to your right. So you're going to squeeze it forward, shoulders over wrists. Good. And now we're going to take the foot behind the left leg, again to the left side of the mat. And you're going to bend your left knee. You're just going to reach that leg out as far as you can. And if you have to, you can put the foot on the floor. If you want a bit more work, you keep it floating. So just pulling, pulling, pulling. And then just come back to downward dog. Soft rest. Child's pose. When you do those stretches out with the leg to the side, you could be ball of the foot or even foot flat on that opposite foot, on the left foot in that last one. Okay, we're going to try it on the other side. So the left leg goes up, three-leg dog. Bring your left knee towards your left arm. You're going to pass the left foot across to the right in front of the right leg and pull your tail up towards that downward dog. And see if you can work to straighten the legs maybe. If you turn the right heel a little more down to the floor, even down to the floor, if you can reach. Might be easier. And then bring the knee up towards the right wrist. And then take it behind. And bend your right knee. So it's less like downward dog, so this is more almost like horizontal or a plank that's being dragged backwards. All right, bring yourself back to downward dog. If you need to rest, take a rest. If you feel okay, take yourself forward to plank. Lower halfway or all the way. Upward facing. And downward facing. Walk your feet forward towards your hands. You could also step or jump. Have your feet about a hip width apart. On an inhale, lengthen fingertips on the floor, maybe hands to shins. Exhale, let go. Then inhale, jump. On an exhale, fold forward. Inhale, go flat. Just pause nice and long. Check in with the weight in your feet. If you can, take the weight more to the midfoot and then the front of your foot. See if you can hold, see if you can be a little lighter on your hands. If you feel like you need to really press into your legs, that's okay, just stay where you are. If you have the support, maybe you try arms alongside the shoulders, cactus arms. You let it go. Hold all the way in. And if you want to relax, you can hold your elbows, head down. If you want a more active stretch, hold onto the sides of your legs and pull upwards. Release your fingertips to the floor. Step your left foot way back. Coming into lunge, so adjust as necessary. Low lunge, hold. Pull your right hip back. Feel the length all the way from the crown to your left heel. And then flatten your left hand on the floor and take your right hand back. Look up. Circle your right arm backwards 3 times. So big circle. Make it smooth. 3 of them. then you'll switch direction for another 3. Is your left leg still straight? Is it still lifted? And then hand to the floor. Put your left knee down. Keep your right leg posted at the 90 degrees. And then you might be on fingertips to walk your hands more forward. You might put your hands on the floor more flat. You might come down onto your elbows. So just see what works for your practice. Good hold there. Notice if your right hip is lifting or you're swinging your toes forward. We'll walk the hands to the left. Keep your legs the same. Keep your right toes pointing forward. And see if you can pull your torso away from your right leg. And you're going to come onto your feet as you turn to the left. So you'll be facing the long edge of your mat, and your feet will be parallel. Your fingertips, perhaps. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Again, you could be hanging, holding the elbows if you want to just be relaxed. If you want a more active stretch, then hold on to the sides of your feet or legs and fold. Try to make sure that your feet are close enough that your head isn't touching the ground. And a little bit of a gap at least between your head and the floor so that you can continue to reach downwards. On an inhale, lift your head and place your right hand directly underneath your chest. And I usually recommend fingertips or maybe even a hand on a block. And with your left hand, you can reach up. And if it's a lot on the shoulder, you can keep the hand on the hip or even the hand behind the head. If you want a deeper stretch or a bit of an adjustment, think of the right front hip moving slightly back. Bring the left hand to replace the right hand, and with the right hand, sweep up. Same as before, if you want that little adjustment, think of your left front hip being nudged slightly back. Stretch out in all directions. Good, and then bring your hands back to the front of the mat and step back. So, as always, the flow is optional. You'll be shifting forward to plank, forward halfway or all the way. You're facing, downward facing. Walk, step, or jump. Just the front of the mat. Just change direction. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up. Exhale, go down. Inhale, get long, so you can be hands on shins again. Just pause, decide if on this side you need the support of your hands on your legs, or if the cactus arms make sense for you. It's a little bit forward to your foot. You may have a bent knee. Try to relax the arms, so that from fingertip to elbow is a smooth line. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fold. Maybe with purpose, maybe have a little bit of a pull with the arms at the back to get more into the hamstrings. And then place the fingertips on the floor. And then go back with the right foot. So now the left leg is forward. Just square your hips, finding your lunge, so left hip back, right hip forward. Keep it elongating from the crown of the head to the heel. Place the right hand down flat, get the left hand up. Give your space. And to reach even further apart with the arms. times with the left arm. So you're circling 3 times. See if you can maintain the legs while you do this. And then after you've done 3, change your direction. So you're going forward 3 times. Try to chase the largest circle that you can. Left fingertips will meet the floor after your 3. Place your right knee down on the ground. From here, you might keep your hands underneath your shoulders. You might have your hands as blocks. You might walk your hands forward. Try to keep your left knee with the ankle. Challenge yourself through the hip. Right, if you are coming really low on the arms or on the elbows, just make sure your left knee isn't going in a strange direction. Your foot isn't twisting in order to get there. And we'll take the hands to the right. So you're walking your body away from your inner left leg. And as you do, just make sure your left knee isn't coming with you. Keep the left knee reaching out to the left. Okay, that's your anchor. Resistance, just try to relax. Okay, you want to meet the resistance. You want to fight it. We're going to turn on the feet, so your feet are going to turn to the long edge of your mat, just a little pivot, and then feet are parallel. So if you need to adjust so that the heels are on the same back line, you can. And we'll fold again. So if you're relaxing again, grab your elbows. If you want, you can take your hands behind your back. Stretch the arms forward in space. If that doesn't work for you, you can fold in the sides of your legs again. It'll be heavy. Feel that as you tip down to the ground, gravity is helping you. To relax, is it possible for your shoulders to let go just a bit more so the hands can fall forward? And slowly start to lift the face. Place the hands back on the floor. Just for a moment in neutral and supported. And you can walk your hands to the sides to help you for this. We're going to bend the right knee. So I'm not turning my feet, I'm just bending my right knee. And if I need to walk my hands to the right, I do. So left leg is straight. You can feel your left inner leg. And if you can, straighten out your spine. So if you're rounding forward, lengthening here will send the effort more to your hip. Good, change sides. So go ahead and walk your hands to the left. As you bend your left knee, right leg straightens. Tail back, chest forward. That's it. Everybody's going to have a different depth based on the anatomy of their hip. And then we'll come back in the middle, take a pause. So we'll repeat that one more time or add the variation where we're coming more to the hamstring. So you can walk your hands more to the right, bending the right knee. And if you'd like, turn your left toes up to the sky. So the sole of the foot is going to be facing the front of your mat and your kneecap will be facing the sky. Your chest is reaching forward or upwards. Your tail is pulling on the back diagonal. Good. We're going to switch sides. So again, use your hands as much as you need. You can change your hands to be a little bit behind you if that gives you better support than hands in front. So as you sink into your left foot and leg, just make sure you're not collapsing, right? You still have the engagement to lift up if you need to. We'll turn to the front of the mat in a lunge, and then just step your left foot back. You'll be a downward facing dog. Option to add in a flow. You'll just find yourself to rest. Plank here, lower, upward. Take your right leg high to your three-leg dog. And step your right foot forward to the right. So options here, we're going to come into a revolved lunge or twist. If you would like to put your left knee down first to set up, then please do. If you want to twist less, it'll just be left hand to right knee. Otherwise, place your elbow to the outside of the knee, maybe stacking the hands. Again, less twist is a little bit more upright. If you have hands at heart, see if you can push the right hand down to lift the chest up to the height of the thumbs. And your shoulders back. Straighten your left leg. And from the heel, almost feel as though it's being pushed slightly forward to keep you in the lunge of the right leg. So we're going to unwind, but as we do, we're going to take the right elbow towards the right knee. You could also put the hand to the floor. Turn your left heel to the mat and lift your left arm. You'll be in side angle. So you're working a side angle. Might have the hand on the floor and might have the elbow on the knee, but you're light through the right side. Start to come up in a reverse. So maintain the lunge in your right knee. Start to reach back, arc back. Maybe keep bending the front knee. And then both hands to the floor. Step back and either resting or flowing. So it's plank. Lower halfway or all the way. Upward dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Repeat for the same on the other side. So it'll be left leg high, three-leg dog. Find yourself to lunge. So you can start in the low lunge. Look down at your feet, make sure you have that hip width apart so you have the stability. So if you're putting the back knee down first, it's right knee to the ground. It's either elbow to the knee or hand to the outside of the knee, and left arm reaching back, depending on how much twist you'd like to do. Straighten up the back leg, lean your heart back. If you feel comfortable, you can look up to the ceiling over your left shoulder. The left elbow, we're going to bring it towards the knee, turn the right heel down, and lift the right arm. So reversion is side angle. Of course, the left hand can be at the floor. Find the strength to support yourself without leaning. Looking down to the floor. Oh, sorry, we're going to come up, reverse warrior. Maintain your front knee, bend more if you can. And then both hands to the floor. Okay, step it back. Plank to low. Upward facing. Downward facing. into your hands. You can step if you want, you can jump. Good. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold. Press into the feet to stand up. And exhale to stand. Take a moment to find our balance, so you might want to move to a part of the mat that feels more secure. Send the weight down your left leg, picking up your right knee. Just hold. So take a moment for your left ankle to calibrate. You'll feel the wobbles happening. Right knee's high, but right hip is neutral. Right hip is even to left hip. So you can take the knee slightly to the side. And I say slightly because we still want chest and hips to face forward. Back to center. That's it. So you can press the ball of the foot forward any amount. Do your best not to lean back. And then bend the knee. Super active here through the hip. Turn it out once again and just stay, find your balance. You might stay here or place it towards your version of the tree. And again, your hand's free, so the foot will not go as high as if you can use your hand to pull it up. Once you have that stability, once your left leg is solid, you can change the arm position. So you want to go tall to the ceiling, take your arms up. You want to take the hands behind the back. Maybe you're working on reverse prayer. Shoulders. Maybe you have lots of space and you take your arms wide. And see if you can go taller and then reach the right knee wider. Keep your left arm wherever it is, behind your back to the side or up. With the right hand, grab onto the right knee and now pull it up high beside you. As much as possible. You're using the strength of your upper body. Very good. Guide it to the center and then let everything go. Walk it off. Pull out your ankles. Switch to a new spot on your mat if you'd like. So it's a long hold. If you need to break it up, just step down, right? And then join in again when you can. Left knee floats. So again, being hands free, right? Or hands off the leg, it's going to make it feel a lot harder. So no expectations as to where that foot ends up. In these first few moments, you're just trying to get your right leg, right ankle used to the balance. Notice that you're upright, you're not leaning back. A little higher without lifting the hip. And then knee slightly to the side. So we're trying not to turn the chest or the hips. Hopefully if any of it sitting is to the right leg, bring it back to the center. And think about your thigh staying in the same place as your left foot reaches any amount forward. Take it out. Find your balance first. Move towards your tree. So again, challenging, no hands. It's getting that foot placed as high as you can from the mobility of your hip joint. Now when you feel ready, if you do, arms the same or different than you did on the last side. Right arms can go up, arms can go out. It's able to bring your back, whatever works for your shoulders. Maybe challenges you a little bit. To grow taller, stretch the left knee out wider. And then keep your right arm or hand, wherever it happens to be, and pick up the knee to the side. With the left hand, you can hold it. Pull it up. And like before, there's going to be temptation to lift the left sit, and when you do, you can see what's happening to me. You start to tip over to the right. So keep it anchored. Lift your chest instead. Take the knee to the center and let it go. Walk it out. Walk it out. I'm going to turn sideways for this one, but you're still working on balance. And left leg's going to start as the first one that stays or grounds. Right toes slightly back. And do hands to hips, or you can do hands in front. Start to lean out and think about the straight line from the top of your head to your right heel, all one piece. If you're unsure or you feel that it's a little unsteady, keep your chest higher than your hips, maybe a lot higher than your hips. When you start to feel more secure, you can always lower from there. Right hip is facing the floor. All the toes of the right foot are facing down. And then as you come up, pull your knee up to the chest. Just pause and hold. Really pull your knee up. Standing up tall. Jab and then put the right foot down. Other side. So left toes can point back. And before you go anywhere, see if you can really firm up this bow line down the left side. Right leg is your support. If you feel you need to keep a bend in the knee, just so that it feels like you have a bit more leeway, then you do. Tip it forward. Start to come up. Knee to chest. Hold it up. Let it go. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull forward. Inhale, get long. Hands to the mat. Plank to low. Upward facing, downward facing. Right leg goes up, three leg dog. Bring your right knee to your left arm. Then optional, stretch that leg out straight, any amount. Keep holding. Maybe the foot's on the floor, maybe it's floating. Bend the knee. Take it all the way back up. Put the foot back on the mat. Take a moment to break. You might need a chest pose here. Go up with the left leg. Bring the left knee towards the right arm. Squeeze it there. And then stretch the leg out straight. If you can, foot stays off the mat or off the floor. And then bend the knee. Take it back. And then put it on the floor. Again, take the rest of your knee. The right leg up again. Then bring the right knee towards the left elbow. Then stretch the leg out. Put the foot on the floor so the right edge of the foot is on the floor. Turn your left heel down and reach the left arm up. Left hand down and drag your right knee towards your right wrist, turning your hip to face forward. You'll find yourself in a pigeon. Yeah. So if you need to adjust, you can slide the foot forward, you can slide it down. If you look over your left shoulder, your left leg is straight back from your hip. So sometimes it wings out a bit wide, narrow. Get tall on your fingertips and level left to right. So sometimes we end up sitting on the right side and then the left side is peeling up. So you can go for level. Up at the chest like an upward dog. And then start to come down. Any depth, so you could be on your elbow. You might choose to stay on your hands. You can go all the way chest to floor. As you come down, make sure that you're not losing the work in the hips. Your hips still stay side by side. So if you think about reaching your right knee more to the right, down, that might help. If you want a bit more intensity, walk your arms, your elbows, or your hands towards the right and even out. So that from the waist up, you're curving out to the right. You're finding that your pigeon pose is already intense. You can skip this. Just feel to your right outer hip, your right glute, your right side. You feel the length through your left low back. That's good. Bring your arms back to the middle if you did walk yourself over to the right. And as you come upright through the torso, go ahead and sit on your right hip so that you can slide your left leg forward and maybe even step it over the knee. So I'm setting up for a seated twist, right? If you find you can't sit flat on the ground, right? Maybe adjust the position of your right foot, maybe even send the legs straight instead. To twist, you can do stop sign over the knee or you can hold in a hug. Right, both are good. Left hand behind you for support. Growing tall to the ceiling. Maybe looking over your left shoulder. And if your body allows, see if you can have your left foot flat on the floor. Sometimes you rest just on the edge of the left foot. If you can get the big toe all the way down, a little bit more pull through the outer left hand. Go ahead and counter twist. And make your way back to downward dog. So you can reverse in the same way that you came in, or just find yourself in a seated position and crawl up to down. Your choice to add in another flow or skip it. Go to the other side. Left leg high. Really high. Bring your left knee to your right arm. Stretch the leg out and place the outer edge of your left foot on the floor beside the mat. Right heel comes down and right hand goes up. Try to straighten all the limbs. Reach more high to the ceiling. And then put the right hand back down on the floor and drag that left foot across until the knee is behind the left wrist. Put yourself down towards your pigeon pose. You just check out on the right leg behind you. Get your hips to face forward. Left hip back, right hip forward. And then think of cobra, upward dog even to your chest. Take a few breaths and allow yourself to start to come down, holding on to the work through the hips that you felt when you were upright. Drawing the left knee wide and downwards. Sliding your right hip higher to the front of the neck. Again, you're lowering any depth that works for you. Right? And lower isn't always better. So see what you find helps. a little more intensity. Take your arms, your upper body to the left and around. Some of that sensation, that extra that you feel if you are going to the left, is what you want to see if you can maintain, right, in terms of it self-adjusting when you're in the forward position. Come back in the middle, to your hand, and then start to sit to the left hip. Your left hip comes all the way down the ground. With your right leg and sweep it around, placing the right foot up and over the left knee. If you can, the foot's more flat, so it really lifts more of your right leg up and over. You're going to the spinal twist. You're going to be looking over your right shoulder. You can either take the elbow to the outside of the knee or hug onto it. Right hand behind you, looking over your right shoulder. Try to go taller, more twist. Twist. And then either reversing out to downward dog or just unfolding legs and making your way back. Yeah. If you'd like to add one final flow, you can add that here. Shifting forward to plank, or halfway, or facing, and downward facing. With your heels and working forward to plank, or onto your foot. So right onto your chest. Swing the legs back. Take your arms down. And then exhale everything, and on your next inhale, lift the arms and the legs. Keep your gaze on the floor, but just forward the mat so that we're not straining the mat. The open fingers and the toes. Notice the engagement of your back. And then just release everything down. Turn your head to the side. Rest. Same again with an add-on. And if you're finding that the add-on is too much or it doesn't feel good, then you just skip it and you just stay with what we're doing here. Lifting legs and legs. So exhale your breath. And on the inhale, peel everything up off the floor. Stretching back with the fingertips and the toes. Reaching forward through the chest. If you want, you can bend your knees. I'm not going to hold the feet. I'm just going to lift the bottoms of my feet, soles of the feet, as though I could stamp them on the ceiling. And if you can, lift your chest higher. Reaching back and up. And then just come down. Again, turn your head in whichever direction feels good. And turn yourself forward. This time, if you want to hold onto your feet, you can, right? If you prefer to just keep your arms and legs straight or bent but not holding, then that's fine too. If you are holding onto your feet, try to find that same amount of work that you were doing through your back body, even while you're holding, right? Sometimes what we do is when we hold the feet, we kind of just let the arms pull back rather than thinking of squeezing through the back muscles. So You still want to find that same engagement even if you are connecting hands to feet. So if you are going to connect, find your feet here. Right, no effort yet. I bring my knees about a hip width apart, knowing that they'll separate a little bit, but still wanting to keep them within range, within shoulder hip distance eventually. So before I go anywhere, pressing the hips into the mat and just lifting the chest so I feel lighter. I'm doing as much work as I can at the floor so that when I come to lift, it's a little bit less. Squeeze the shoulder blades slightly together, and again, maybe that brings you up higher. Inhale to lift, knees starting to come away from the floor. Press the tops of your feet into your hands. Maybe lift your knees higher, and then your chest higher, and then your feet higher. So you keep working, making sure you can breathe. You let go of your effort. You can come down. And then we're going to come up with the face and just come onto elbows. Take a moment just slightly lifted. We're going to go back towards child's pose. So when you're ready, you press into your knees, descend your hips back, but walk your knees in. And just take a gentle child's pose. Maybe the knees are apart, or together. We're not in any kind of extreme forward fold, right? We're just trying to come through a neutral place first. And then when you're ready, you can come to sit with your legs out in front. And add your forward fold. So here's your counter pose, right? It's a bit more intense than that child's pose. So you could hold the underside of your knees. And if you can catch your elbows, maybe try. Maybe just your wrists if you can't quite get that far. I do bend my knees a lot, right? So you do need to bend your knees a lot to get the rib cage on the thighs. And then start to push the heels more forward. Right, and as you push the heels forward, you're going to notice that you're being pulled closer, closer, closer to the floor. Try to straighten your legs against your arms while maintaining ribs to thighs. You can relax your head and neck. And if you have any space, see if you can lengthen your neck forward. So as you fold, you do feel length. And if you feel you can straighten your legs completely against your arms, and you can maybe straighten more, but your arms are in the way, then you can just take your arms out and reach your hands to your feet. And slowly curl down, so you'll let your hands slide up to your knees, over your thighs, easing yourself into your back, and then letting your hands come down. Take a big breath in. Full breath out. Feel big, just stay. Maybe you take your arms wide, knees to chest, and just a little windshield wipe. You can hold one side or the other side if you want to feel that twist. And then legs will eventually make their way down, and your arms will come down as well. So taking your time to get towards your final rest, right? If there are other poses that you feel you need to do before you take that rest, then squeezing them in here. You're warmed up, right? For any extras that you'd like to do. And as you rest, see if you can soften all the muscles so that you don't have to support them anymore. Your mat is there. Maybe you bring your awareness inwards.
Smooth out your breath and just rest. Slowly bringing your awareness back to the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes, rotating your wrists and the ankles. Taking your arms up over your head and sliding the heels together to stretch. Maybe knees come to the chest as you roll to the side. And taking your time on the side. And stay there or come up as you feel ready. Thank you so much for sharing your day with me. Thank you for your energy, for practicing yoga, and especially for all of your efforts. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.